Rocksteady has released some new DLC for Batman Arkham Asylum yesterday. It's not everything for the month of August. They're kind of trickling things in, which I think is a really good idea.
Yeah.
It feels like forever since that Batgirl DLC came out. You know, it's hard to believe it hasn't been a month, but it obviously has not. So,
right.
Just kind of, I guess, shows how good the game is. Cause
I'm still kind of annoyed that we're getting the stuff later because we bought a PlayStation instead of an Xbox.
Right. The Xbox people have been getting the stuff like at 10 p.m. our time. It's like midnight Eastern time, like the day it comes out. And the PlayStation people, we don't get it until like something like 4 in the afternoon the next day. I was checking for it all day, and then I got kind of busy in the afternoon and forgot about it. So I didn't even realize we had this DLC till 9 o'clock last night. So
right.
So almost 24 hours after the Xbox people got it. Which is not a big deal for most people, but when you're trying to get your YouTube videos out, that makes it hard.
Right.
So, let's take a look first. Most of what was released here is just new character skins. And
a new Batmobile.
Well, that's also a skin.
Yeah.
So, this is our new Batmobile, the prototype Batmobile.
This Batmobile is actually not just a reskin. The model is actually different on this.
Right, yes.
Not hugely, but more than anything else. The rest of them have just been reskins.
The rest of them have always just been, like, purely materials, different paint jobs, basically.
I mean, this one's obviously got enough that you still have the trunk and all of that stuff, so you can still play it in game.
Right.
But, yeah, it's a different model.
I've played this a little bit, and it's probably just me. I'm 90% certain it's just me, but it feels like it handles differently than the other Batmobile. It feels like it handles smoother, and it's probably just an optical illusion because the car looks much sleeker than the other car. It looks like it should be handling smoother, so it's probably more noticeable in this car the fact that the Batmobile just handles bumps really well. It doesn't get jarred around when you go over bumps, and that's probably just much more noticeable in this car.
Right.
And I've got a couple of gameplay videos that you can link to this if you want to see this car in action. I've got a combat video and a racing video that you can check out.
Nice.
So.
Yeah, I haven't played with this car yet.
Let's see, and then the new skins that they released, the basic ones, the ones that they have actually released for the DLC, is first this Batman Beyond. And once again, for each one of these skins, I've got a couple of videos, one combat and one stealth, that you can check out if you want to see how these skins look in action.
Right. I like this one. It looks cool. I still kind of like the one from Arkham City that's obviously just right out of the animated series.
Right,
better,
yeah. I mean,
but
I agree. I kind of, I just am attached to that Batman Beyond suit. I like it. This is cool. It's just very different from what I was expecting.
Right. His little wings thing kind of just pops out of that backpack when he glides.
Oh, okay.
I've played with it a little bit, and yeah, it just kind of pops out of that backpack.
Actually, the ones that I did, I guess I didn't have any gliding on, so
yeah,
so I didn't see that. But that's kind of cool. The one thing that I kind of don't like about this is like this mouthpiece. I mean, I understand what's going on here, but often when you're playing the game with this character, it just kind of looks like the bat suit is empty.
Right.
Which is a little bit weird. So, but
although it makes sense. I mean, Batman, it's crazy that he doesn't have his whole face covered, but
yeah, it is. It's just I don't like necessarily the black for the
I understand. They should, if they would have kept it all the same color.
Yeah, it would have been a lot better. So I think that this suit, the stuff that the Arkham Knight did in the game reminds me a lot of this suit. His suit reminds me a lot of this suit.
Right.
And so I kind of wonder if that took a little bit of...
I could see that, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, Okay, and the next one is the Dark Knight Returns Batman skin.
Yeah.
So, if anybody's not familiar with the Dark Knight Returns, this is old man Batman. He's been out of the game for 10 years, and he decides that he's not ready to give it up, and he goes back. So he's 50, maybe even in his 60s by this time. So he doesn't have quite the muscle definition. He's still got the bulk and the muscle mass, and he's still obviously pretty tough, but he's not ripped the way he was when he was a young pup.
Right. It's actually the comic that this is from, and that they also did an animation for it that was really good, an animated 2-part movie. Right, it's actually loosely what the new Superman Batman movie is based on.
Yeah.
So it's probably gonna look a little bit like this.
All right. So this last piece of DLC that was released is this crazy bat suit here, Arrh Batman skin.
This is from the WB Play stuff.
Right. So what this means, this is not traditional downloadable content in that you wouldn't actually have to pay for this. These other things we get because we have the season pass. But this skin you can just get. Anybody can get it. Some people have said that they've had trouble getting it. What you have to do is you have to go to the WB forums and post on the forums. And I just posted. They had moderators on the forums that had actually set up topics specifically for this. I just posted in one of their topics. Their topic just said, "This is where we've set this up for you to post in. If you posting to get the Arrh skin," I just posted okay and left.
Right.
So now a couple of things to be aware of if you're trying to get this. They have a little screen capture thing on their posts. You have to do a screen capture test for every single post, where it comes up with a little picture, and you have to type the numbers in the picture to verify that you're not a bot.
The CAPTCHA things.
Yeah. Now, if WB is trying to convince people to post on their forums, they are never going to get people to post on their forums if you have to do this for every single post.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
But the reason I mention it is because if you just type in a post and click OK, it looks like you've posted and you haven't. And I think that's why a lot of people are having trouble getting this skin.
I see.
So you have to do your post and scroll down, and before you click on OK, somewhere between your post and the OK button is this little screen capture. You have to go to that screen capture, type in the numbers, and then click OK. And then after you've done that, you have to completely exit out of the Batman, the Arkham game. Go back into the Arkham game, and then let me just show you real quick here. So then you're going to go down to this WB Play. Okay, so then right here, if you've done this correctly on their forums, you're going to have this little check box here show up, and then you just have to come and click X on this to select the check mark, and then you will have the skin. So, back to looking at that skin though. So I spent a little bit of time researching this because this was something I had never heard of, this Arrh skin. I don't know, do you know anything about it?
Nothing.
So it's a little bit too nutso for me. I don't know why it does that sometimes. Sometimes you go in and it'll just keep blacking out like that. You have to just exit out and come back in to get it to stop. So I don't know. It's really weird. It was kind of difficult for me to understand. But I guess there was another Batman from a different universe, a Arrh Batman, and he, at some point, I guess, contacted the Earth 1 Batman, which is our Batman, because naturally it is.
Right.
But he contacted that Batman for help in his planet, and I guess Batman went to his planet and to help him, and when he got to his planet, it was like a Superman deal where the elements and stuff on his planet gave Batman all these superpowers, and so when Batman was there, he was basically Superman Batman, which seems a bit much, but but that's not what this is. So I guess something about, I couldn't understand exactly how this went down, but I guess there was something about when Batman came back, he set up this personality based on this Zur and Arrh guy, I guess, if I'm understanding this right. So it's a backup personality. So if Batman is ever attacked psychically and it overwhelms his psyche, he has this backup personality implanted in his brain that will take over, and it's this Zur and Arrh personality, and he's kind of out there and a little bit crazy and more murdery than traditional Batman, and that's why he dresses like this, is because he's not so big on the stealth, he's more into just punching people. So he's got some mental problems. He has an invisible imaginary friend.
I dig that.
Yeah. So. Okay. And then the other DLC that was released today, if you didn't have it already, if you didn't buy the game as a pre-order from GameStop, the Red Hood DLC was made available today. So we finally got a chance to play that.
Yeah.
And also price points for the stuff, the Harley Quinn and Red Hood DLCs are $2 each, which I think is fairly reasonable.
Yeah.
I don't think that's too bad if you're buying them individually. Of course, they come with the season pass for $40. So I tried this DLC. What did you think?
I liked it. It was obviously super short. I mean,
Super short. Yeah.
it took me maybe 15 minutes at the very longest. Probably not even that long. The last fight with Black Mask, that kind of sucked. Black Mask could just take way more damage than like a dude in a suit should have been able to.
Right.
He's not Superman.
I was expecting him to go down if I could get a beatdown combo on him, and I did a beatdown combo, and he ends it by like putting the gun like right up against his heart, and boom, and then he just gets back up.
Right. Like, I sat there beating on him for like 15 minutes before I realized I had done almost no damage.
Right.
Obviously not a whole 15 minutes, but like it felt like 15 minutes.
Yeah, that was a long fight.
Constantly like fighting his endless barrage of guys, because every time you'd kill some more would just jump down out of the ceiling. And so yeah, I didn't really like the last fight on that. I ended up just sitting there just blasting him with my guns while like countering his goons, because there was not really a whole lot of point in taking down his goons, because they would just get more. So yeah, I just sat there and just blasted him with my guns so he couldn't shoot at me, and that's how I ended up getting.
Like that boss fight.
Yeah,
and very good. And I don't know, maybe I had too high of expectations going into this. The people online just love this DLC and they talk it up constantly, and I just don't see it. This was really the most disappointing one for me by far. So yeah, the people online have loved the Red Hood because he kills, and I kind of agree that, you know, Batman should be a little bit more willing to kill, but I don't think that just shooting people is enough to make this character so incredibly wonderful, amazing. And the thing is, he didn't have much in the way of gadgets. He's got his guns that he can use to just kill somebody right out, but it's so slow. They're so slow.
They are.
Almost always get hit if you try and use them. He's got his...
And it's in the place of like the batarangs, which are super quick. So you're used to being able to just stop people pretty much instantly, and then instantly go into your next move.
Right.
Where the shooting, if you try to shoot somebody while somebody's running up on you, you're going to get hit before you stop shooting.
Right. And then he's also got his stun grenades that you can throw, and these seemed pretty much useless to me. After you throw a stun grenade, he won't do anything but sit and shoot the person. You press attack, and he'll just shoot at the person who's clear across the screen, which is fine, but it doesn't kill them. It's just kind of like a slow thing, like a beatdown combo. Right. Which doesn't make a lot of sense. But more importantly, he just stands there and does that while everybody around him kicks the crap out of him.
Right. So I didn't actually use a stun grenade. So
they're not useful.
Kind of sounds like I shouldn't have anyway. So.
Yeah. overall, though, the reason I don't like him is he is just slow as dirt compared to all the other characters.
He is very slow.
So yeah, that was just really disappointing to me. To me, that kind of trumps the fact that he's willing to kill. You know, the fact that he's willing to kill is maybe a minor positive in his direction, but the fact that he sucks at it,
yeah,
just so yeah, I was disappointed by this.
Yeah. Out of the ones that we've gotten so far, there was the Harley Quinn, which was really good.
Which was really
the Batgirl, which was really good, and this one, which you're right. Out of the DLC for this game, it is by far the worst one. It is very disappointing if you take into account the other ones.
Right.
Don't move, Quinn.
Wow, you're slow.
So then the last thing that we have here to talk about, let's see, how do I enable this? Oh, it's always got this enable photo mode and off and on. Oh, toggle, there we go. So the last thing that they release, and I don't know if you consider this DLC, but it's definitely new content, is they released this new photo mode.
Right.
Which lets you pause the game and take pictures of what's going on in the action. And you know, this is cool functionality. I think a lot of people are going to like this. For me, it's a little bit lacking. You can see right now, so I paused this, and I'd like to be able to move around in this scene, and I just can't. Which happens, you know, it doesn't let you move around in cutscenes, and that's what's going on here. Is it's considering this kind of a cutscene, and it's letting me zoom and look around, which it doesn't oftentimes when it has things like this happen. But so let's move just a little forward in the scene. Let's see. Okay, so now I can kind of move around a little bit. You can take some cool photos. You can get rid of the UI. You also can, actually, if you want, get rid of the Arkham Knight symbol in the right. You can make it big, you can make it small, move it around, but you can also just turn it off. So it's kind of cool. It lets you check out some of the action shots in a new way. I'm sure a lot of this will be used with, you know, Harley Quinn and Batgirl and all of that.
Well, you just broke that guy real good.
Yeah. So, I mean, stuff like this is cool. It lets you get in and get a good camera angle, see exactly what's happening here. It's kind of cool. Now, it has a few deficiencies in that you always have to be pointing at the main character. I would like to be able to, you know, I would like to be able to use this to look at the environments and other characters, and you really can't do that. You always have to be super narcissistic and looking at your character with this. And you can kind of adjust things a little bit, because you can zoom in a little and to get your character out of screen. But still, you know, you really have to kind of work to get anything that's not just the main character, and I think that's unfortunate.
Yeah, I think so too. It would be cool to just be able to just float around and look around at stuff and not have to worry about where the camera's pointing. Not necessarily even for taking pictures, just for checking out the environment in a way you can't really do all the time in the game.
Yeah, that's exactly my thoughts. Is I would like to be able to use this to really check out some of the stuff that they've done in the game that you oftentimes can't see as well as you'd like.
Right. And oftentimes because the character's in the way.
Right, yeah. And because it's always got to be centered on the character, just like the regular camera in the game, that prevents you from doing some of that stuff.
Right.
So that's too bad that they made that choice. But it is new content, and any new content is always welcome, I think.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's obviously better to have this than not have it.
Certainly.
If you don't want it, you don't have to use it.
Right. You don't, like it, don't use it. But yeah, so
it's got all the filters and stuff too.
It does have some filters. Yeah, there are different things you can do. Adjusting the zoom, you can tilt the camera if you'd like.
Kind of fitting at times for the Harley Quinn. You could turn it sideways and make it look all crazy.
Sure. You can play with things with the focus, and that doesn't seem to be doing much here, but at times you can do some cool focus effects. Exposure, brightness. You can do different frames around your pictures. So yeah, some kind of cool options. Yeah, they have the various different filters, which are kind of important because sometimes the lighting in this game is not. I mean, it's got a certain mood to it, but.
Yeah.
But sometimes it would be good to be able to adjust the lighting when you're taking a picture. And again, I was really hoping that you'd be able to move around during the cutscenes. I'd like to be able to see what's happening in the background in some of the cutscenes, and you can't do that anytime there's a cutscene. You can still use photo mode during the cutscene, but it just won't allow you to move the camera around at all. It'll just disable. Right. Usually even so much as the zoom option is disabled.
Right.
And that might be for technical reasons. It is very possible that during some of the cutscenes they just haven't taken the time to continue animations in the background and things like that.
Could well be.
So they may not have wanted to have to go through and worry about little details like that during the cutscenes, and that may be why they disable that during the cutscenes. That would be my guess.
Yeah, I think that's a pretty good solid guess. That is probably why they did that.
So there you go, photo mode. This is available to everybody. All you have to do is download the newest update for the game, and this comes for free. So.
Yep.